fine.
We're fine, Martha.
Welcome.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, we're so glad everybody's here, and look at all the new faces. It is so fun to have new people show up. Bring your friends. We'd like to have everybody introduce themselves tonight since we don't know everybody. So can we go around the circle and please introduce yourself?
My name's Nicholas Williams.
Good evening, Nicholas.
Good evening.
I'm Virginia 1.
Virginia, we're glad to have you come back and hope you had a good time when you were here last
I
time.
did. Thank you, Martha.
Well, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
I'm Brenda Nessie.
Brenda, I'm so glad you're here. How's your car running today?
Better, thank
Oh, we were so concerned with you a while back, and you seem to be getting back here each time, so we're so thrilled.
you. Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for being here.
I'm Mary Struntz.
Mary, I haven't met you before. Welcome.
Thank you, Martha.
And we hope that you have a good evening.
Thank you.
I'm Rosanna Butzner.
Hi, Rosanna. I'm so glad you're here. You're just always hanging out with Marilyn, aren't you? That's great.
I'm Angela Kelly.
Angela, how's that new wedding coming?
Great, actually. Yeah.
Oh, how long's it been there? That she's a newlywed, everybody.
Oh, good.
Just over a month, I think.
Oh, that's still newlywed time. We're so
Very
glad
much
you're
so.
here.
Thank you.
And tell Devin, give him our best wishes and lots of love.
I will, thank you.
And
very
maybe
much.
next time he won't be auditioning for something so wonderful as a television show. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Hopefully, yes.
That is cool.
Thank you.
Hi, Martha. I'm Mac. I have a question for you that Marilyn wants me to ask.
Oh, yes.
She would like to go for an hour, and she would like to know if you think that would be okay, and if she can go longer, she'd be willing to do so.
Would you tell her when the hour is up, and then we'll tell you how she's doing?
We'll do that.
Oh, thank you for being the clock watcher.
And thank you for coming, Martha.
Oh, thank you for all your help. And she just loves that music. Elvis is her dreamboat, you know. And that's every time he sings, she just wants to drool because she loves his songs. They're so wonderful. And they just touch her heart, and she just feels like she's young again. So it's wonderful. And we have some surprises. Instead of so many questions tonight that most people ask, we have a little bit of information we want to share with you tonight. And some other surprises too. So just bear with us, and hopefully you'll get your answers answered one way or another. And I'm going to just say have a good time tonight. And St. Germain will be here in a minute. But before that, we have a surprise for somebody tonight. So just hang on a minute.
Thank you, Martha.
Macklin, this is your mother.
Hi, Mom.
I was wanting to come and tell you how pleased I am with your spiritual growth. Frank has been with me on the other side at times telling me how proud he is of you, and he said, go see him, go see him. So I talked with Marilyn this morning, and she knew that I would be wanting to come through and wish you well and tell you how proud I am of you.
Well, you were on my mind today. I must have sensed that there's something special going to make this connection. I'm so glad that you're here, Mom.
Well, there's another reason why I came through, and your sister is in enough of a haze that she couldn't tell you in person, so she came to me in spirit and asked if I would relay this message to you. So I'm here kind of for double reasons. And when I came through this morning, and Marilyn thought I was Dorothy, that's why she asked you what my name was. So your sister Jean is here, but she didn't know her first name was Dorothy. So Dorothy Jean is with you too. And she wants you to have some information she feels would be valuable for you. She wants you to understand how sad she is that she did not complete cleaning out her housekeeping as she moved out of her house, that it actually left unfinished business, which was grieving that needed to be completed. And part of being in her Alzheimer's, she has trouble with the grieving process, and she never finished grieving her husband, but some of that would have happened as she was cleaning out the items. And so she's stuck in some of her grief because of not having completed some of those. Her son and daughter just came in and took over, and she said, I'm sorry now I didn't step up to the plate and actually have some more input into taking care of those things, because it really didn't help her with her grief and resolving and finishing the process that she needed to complete. And so she's sorry about that and doesn't want you to make the same mistakes.
Well, I know one thing that she's been quite sad about. I guess sad would be the right word. Do you remember the picture wall by the door in her living room? It had the graduation pictures of all the kids and some of the college pictures.
Right.
Those all disappeared, and when they took over the house, and she really misses that.
Yes, I know, and all of her standing back and just letting them do what she's discovered was not in her best interest. She needed to be in there and deal with the feelings at the time, and she's sorry she didn't do that. But she has always been stuck in this long, drawn-out grief for her husband dying, and she's just ran from it, and she doesn't want you to do the same.
Do you have any suggestions what we can do to help alleviate that situation with Jean?
When you're down there this coming summer, when she's in some more lucid places, you might just have some talks with her to help draw it out of her that it's okay to cry and finish her grieving. She needs to have permission. That's what she needs, permission.
We'll do that.
Okay, that would be helpful.
Marilyn would probably be helpful there, because she's had experience along these lines as a counselor, so I think together maybe we can help her through this.
That would be a good idea, very good idea. Well, I want to say goodbye, son, but I want you to know that you have made me proud, and your development is thoroughly appreciated on this side. You have covered leaps and bounds as far as your spiritual growth, and it is a joy to be your mother.
Before you go, Mom, can you tell me how Lucy is?
Oh, well, Lucy's doing just fine. She sends her love, and I see her periodically, but we are in different places having different skills that we're working on, and so I don't see her all the time, but yes, I will send her your love to her too.
Thank you, I would appreciate that.
Oh, okay, well, I love you very much, son.
Same here. Thank you for coming, Mom.
Oh, you're welcome. I am Saint Germain.
Greetings. Welcome.
And I am glad to be here this evening. And I wanted to help people this evening with some messages that need to be clarified, especially for a few people in the room tonight. I know that you are all in ascension and all at different places of ascension in your growth. And this is wonderful that you people are on the spiritual path and that you are learning and understanding and seeking new ways to help raise your consciousness. So tonight I wanted to do a little bit of a helping you to do that, and we're going to have a surprise visit to assist that in a little bit. So as you understand, ascension is ascending out of fear. And some of you might all of a sudden quake when I say that word. Everybody has different fears about different things. But if we continue to hang on to those fears, they're going to keep us in the third dimension, and we have to then send you to another planet where the third dimensional lessons will continue to play out, and you'll have more opportunity to learn those lessons. But you are so close, you people here, so close to not having to do that, that it's time to really look at what is left in your closet of fears and see them for what they truly are. When it talks in the 23rd Psalm about, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, that's what I want you to understand. Some people say fear is false emotions appearing real. And in the third dimension, those negative, lower emotions that come from fear are really just games of your mind from the ego. The ego wants to keep you in the dark and wants to keep you out of the light of God. And you people have enough light in your lives to say, I am going to go into the total light, and I don't choose to listen to the voice of the ego anymore. And I can see beyond the fear that my gifts are just waiting for me and are there for me if I walk through it and don't pay any attention. Face your fear and feel it. There's nothing wrong with feeling fear and anxiety, but it's saying I'm going to walk forward through it with the courage of God and using the faith necessary. And you might even say, God, I need more faith for this one. Here we go again. Because faith grows. And as you ask for more faith, then you will go through more and more lessons that might take that additional faith than what you had before. So your faith will continue growing. And if you understand that your fear is the opposite of faith, you have a choice. I hope your choice would be to say, I choose to walk forward in faith, knowing that God is with me always. In fact, your angels are always around you. You all have an entourage around you of guides and spirits helping you, getting you to the right places that you need to be, going where you need to be for the right connections, the right opportunities. All of these are just sitting there planned out. The Ascended Masters have recorrected the grid that was demolished with the fall of Atlantis. And what that meant was it was a fallen consciousness. So all we're doing is raising our consciousness back to where we had it at the time of Atlantis. And now we have the opportunity to actually move in to the fourth dimensions of God consciousness, and then into the fifth dimension of living in God's peace and grace, and not just talking about it, but to experience it. And as we do that, the third dimension is collapsing away. Every time you release a fear, there is less and less of the third dimension for you to experience, or the consciousness to experience. In fact, every time you face a fear, you're not only changing your own consciousness, you change the consciousness of the collective consciousness. And that's why our civilization on Earth today is ready to move forward. There are so many people have risen in consciousness with the new grid that was constructed to help us move forward. And without that new grid that the Ascended Masters were able to reconstruct, we would have had to go back clear to the beginning of time. And it would have taken thousands and billions, actually, of years to get to where we are in consciousness. So we are so close now to actually moving out of that third dimension on Earth and letting the ascension happen even bigger. And we're in the process, and the third dimension is collapsing. It's well explained in the disappearance of the universe. As you move forward, you are going to have more love and light in your life, and to let that light dispel the darkness of the fear. It is only the boogeyman. And you know how when the little kids are so scared when they're tiny and you walk into the room and you turn on the light in the dark room and you say, see, there's no boogeyman. And that's what you're doing to yourself. Turn on the light in your life, in your room, and see, there is no fear. It's just a concoction of illusions from your ego. Some people say the ego is edging God out. And when you know there's a choice, don't edge God out. Just choose faith, choose God, consciousness, move forward in courage, saying, I know, God, there isn't anything you and I together can't handle today. Another way to help you do that is to say to the Holy Spirit is, please be in charge of my day. And you know what? The ego doesn't have a chance then. So it's a wonderful way to move out of ego, is just put the Holy Spirit in charge of your life for the day and remember each day to do that. And your life will start changing immediately. And some people in here have less fear than others. But there is still some dark, shadowy corners because we haven't left the third dimension completely. So this is your chance to get into the corners with your Q-tips and get all the last fears out of there, no matter what they are. Because if you realize every time you buy into the fear, you are giving away your power. You were born with all the power in the image of God. Your birthright is to be in love. And every time you give away your power, you are not in God's love. You have chosen to give it away and you become powerless. Well, now's your chance to reclaim it. Now's the chance to realize those low vibrations of energy can come up and raise into the loving higher energy, which we call a higher power of love, God, whatever you choose to call your higher power. But in choosing those higher images of God, or how you choose to label those, are for everybody's birthright. You just have to claim it. It's there. And just look in that direction towards the light. Walk away from the darkness. Turn on the light in the room and see that the darkness has been dispelled. And not to believe your head, to move out of your head and into your heart. And you will graciously open up your heart so the light inside can come out, the love in your heart can open up, fill you from head to toe, and it will fill you, and you will feel that light blossoming and blooming and light effervescence of, I can't explain, it's so marvelous how you'll feel inside, and let that light shine to everybody. Let everybody know that you are God conscious and that you are moving into the light. And act as if you are. You are such wonderful beings of light. To claim it and live it today is helping not only yourself but everybody. So as you move out of your ego thinking, which is a mindset of selfishness and dishonesty, you move into being selfless and honest. Your connection to God is honesty. And claim the honest relationship you have with your higher power, with your God, with your love in your life. And let that bloom and blossom. You know, there's a little children's song that says not to hide your light under a bushel barrel. And so don't hide your candle under a bushel barrel. Let it come out for everyone to see. And just release those fears. I'm hoping that you will understand that the ego was trying to protect you, but it was not really protecting you because it kept you away from God. As the fear of the society was conditioned onto you, piles and piles of fear, and you're now releasing levels and layers of fear, and you come into seeing when all that fear is gone. It's like your plate has been cleared. And all is left is the innocence of a child. It is a beautiful place to be. If you remember in the Bible, it says you need to be like a child to enter the kingdom of God. And you are that innocent child when you let all of that ego-driven fear finally give it to God. Let go and let God. Whatever it takes to release that. And we have something special here for you tonight to help do that. In a way, you people have been here at a very special time. We have Archangel Michael and his sword Excalibur here tonight to help cut those cords and connections that you have to fear. When you have a fear, it's connected to a negative energy out there somewhere, and it keeps you bound to that fear. In fact, what you fear will actually manifest and materialize. So you want to not let it grow anymore. You want it to die and go. Undo your ego. Undo it so it doesn't have any power anymore. It's only like a hot air in a paper bag. You can just slap it and there's not there, but you believed it. And now just bring your old hot air balloon, if you have a hot air balloon, put your pin in it and just let it come down and sink so that it's not have any shape or form in your life anymore. So I hope that you people take this message home by taking out a piece of paper tonight and writing out all the fears you can think about, all the fears you've had in your life now or the ones that still have been there for a long time. And as you write them on your paper, you're going to then burn it and give it to the universe. Give it to God. Give your ego to God. Give your fears to God. And that light will dispel. And now we're going to have Saint Germain come in and with his sword so he can go around every person in the room tonight and cut those connections that have held you to your fears. But this is a special time, and Marilyn hasn't done this before, so just bear with her. She hasn't brought through Michael before, but he said he wanted to come, so give her a few minutes, all right?
Yes.
Yes, certainly will.
Thank you for being such a good audience. I hope that the message gets through, that you are ready to go into ascension. Don't hang on to anything that's going to keep you from that, because you people in this room are ready. Go for it. Embrace it. Love every minute of it, and know that the gifts and the rewards are worth every minute of moving forward into that love of God. And may God bless you forever. Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Archangel Michael, Lord of the Way, Truth, and the Light. I'm glad to be here this evening.
Thank you for coming, Michael.
Thank you for having me. Some of you might have noticed the picture on the wall. I have not talked here before, but I had to come and say, that's a picture of me. Marilyn first met me in Spain, and then she came home and painted this picture of me, and I showed her how to do it. It's supposed to be like I am in a veil or a very thin sheet that you can see through. The white was the material, and the color green you could see through me. And that is hard to draw in third dimension. She did the best she could. I am so pleased to be talking to you people tonight. You are a select group of people, because ascension is what we're all about on earth, and you people know and understand what that's about. I am in great joy this evening coming here and talking with you. And I would like to do each of you the favor of taking my Excalibur sword and passing it around each and every one of you. So hopefully when you go home this evening, you will feel lighter. Oh, isn't that an interesting term? Instead of being heavy with the darkness, go home and feel lighter. Let the light out of your heart. Let the lightness come into you and fill you with God's grace, and help will also increase your health, your happiness. You are here on earth to enjoy. And when you are in joy, then you are in God's presence. So the less fear you have, the more joy you can now fill that space with. What a wonderful gift to get by giving up your fear. And I'm talking to Angela right now. By giving up your fear, Angela, you will have a lighter life. Doesn't that sound like a wonderful opportunity?
It does, thank you.
And I am with you in that. I know for you it might be a little harder than some, and that's okay. Just call on me when you are in need of more light and more help and assistance, and I will be with you to help you walk through your heavier times.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. And we have some people here who are already very light, and we are to recommend and commend those people here in this room that have done a great amount of releasing the darkness inside. So we are here tonight, and we will start with Nicholas, and I will come to you, and I am passing my sword around you. I hope you will be able to share a difference when you leave tonight.
Thank you.
And we are coming to Virginia. Blessings to you, Virginia, that you have come again and are so willing to move on in your spiritual path and leave your fears behind.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for being here.
It is my honor. And we are coming to Brenda. Brenda, you have a lot of fears yet to work on, and I know that you have asked questions about getting help with this. And if you need to pursue that, I recommend that you do that. But tonight we are going to help you release some of your big fears, and then you will have to continue some of the work on your own.
Thank you.
You
Thank
are
for
so
coming.
welcome. And the next person,
Mary?
Mary. Thank you, Mary. I want you to know how pleased I am that you're here this evening. You have worked very hard and have come a long way in your spiritual growth, and it means that you have released a great deal of fear. And may I help you with the rest of it?
Yes.
Very much. Leave here knowing that you have a much lighter life coming ahead of you.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. And now we have Mac. Mac, you've done a terrific job, but we want to help you with the last of your fears. And I'm going with my sword around you right now, releasing those fears, because they're just like the boogeyman. Just saying, okay, I'm walking forward in faith. I do not need to fear any longer. You are doing a wonderful job, Mac. Just release the last of it.
I can feel it, Michael. It's just an upward rush.
Good. Very good. I would like to commend all of you for showing up tonight and being willing and eager and not resistant, because as you accept reality, it will grow and become even bigger and better. As you know, God is energy, and as it expands, your life expands, and you feel good inside. It's not a big mystery as some people would like to think. It's actually very simple dynamics. So what we're doing here tonight is helping you to expand your energy. May you go home feeling the joy in your heart that is truly there and can finally shine. Good evening.
Michael?
Yes?
I think you missed several. I think you missed
Couple.
Roseanne and...
Oh, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Rosanna, yes. We do want to help you too, and I know you have fears that you are dealing with. So sorry, so sorry. I got carried away. I want you to know that it is safe to release those fears, Rosanna. Hanging on to them is stopping the light in your life. And actually, I know you have some health problems, and in my passing Excalibur around you, your health problems will start to even improve with the less fear in your life. As your energy moves up, your health will also move up, and it will be of a great benefit for you.
Thank you.
You are so welcome, and I am releasing those ties right now.
And Angela?
Yes, I mentioned Angela, but we are here cutting the cords around you, Angela, and you have some additional work, such as Brenda, that you might want to get some additional help at another time to work on some specific issues. But right now we want to help give you a step urge forward, a little push to help you get going in the right directions, to help get rid of some of those fears so that it's easier to move through the rest of your fears. So this is kind of like jump start for you, okay?
Thank you.
And we're cutting as many cords as we can. To cut them all for everybody all at once is not practical. May I say that it would be wonderful if everybody could lose all their fear and we would just be there. Wouldn't that be marvelous?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Not realistic. Because you are an energy field. If you totally became fearless all at once, it would blow your circuits.
Mm.
And when this happens to some people who are very young and their circuits are not in connected and very stabilized because of their youth. We call that post-traumatic stress disorder. I don't think you want that.
No.
Marilyn had a hard time with her post-traumatic stress disorder, and that's when I first met her, was to help her dispel it, because you need such a powerful, positive energy to dispel the negative circuit breaking from the negative energies that happened, that broke the circuit, so you can bring it into balance. And so we don't want anybody to have their circuits broken tonight. So I'm not saying that I'm dispelling every fear you have, but the major ones that are causing a lot of trouble and keeping you from moving forward, we are glad to help you with these, and to keep searching, because there will be others, because it is a process. And if you did it all at once again, it would just not work. You would have a very difficult time and probably not survive it, because all that energy at once, you would just jump into the fifth dimension like that, and it just would not be a practical thing for your physical body. It would not be able to handle it. So as you understand that, knowing this isn't the end and cure-all, but I'm definitely here to help you and to dispel as much as we can tonight. Do you understand?
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
You're so welcome. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to miss anybody. That has never been my intention. We want everybody included. In fact, if everybody showed up, we'd help them all. So don't think that it was on purpose. You might say I had a lapse or a senior moment. So good evening, everybody.
Thank you for coming, Michael, and for the blessing that you bestowed upon us.
I am John,
God bless
Good
you.
evening, John.
and some of you know me as John the Divine or the Apostle John. And I do help people with their questions. It looks like we have some time this evening. We weren't sure how long the fear information would take. So at this point, if you have a question, we would be glad to try to answer it. Sometimes we play Stump the Ascended Master, so maybe you can do that tonight.
John, I have a question that Marilyn would like an answer to. She's been experiencing a problem with a tooth. We've done some healing work on it. The tooth looked like it has improved tremendously. Her dentist wants to pull the tooth, and her question is that tooth healing, and is it going to continue to heal so she does not have to lose it? Would you like me to tell you which tooth it is?
Oh, I know which tooth it is. It's in the lower left side.
That's it.
Yes, I know the tooth. I would suggest, I am not a dentist, but I would suggest that she has another X-ray to see how much of the healing actually occurred. It has improved, what you might say, 95%, and it's possible it does not have to be extracted. I would suggest she talk it over with her dentist to see what is the most practical approach, but I believe the abscess is gone and that he will notice the change in the X-ray. But just to make a decision without double checking is really the smartest, so have her make an appointment for another X-ray.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
John, I have a question for you.
Yes.
My brother Kevin Struntz has had some type of rash on his body. He's been taking different medications, which sometimes has been helping, and I was just wondering, could you tell me if this is something that he should be continuing to take, these type of medications?
Well, there are so many kinds of rashes, and usually they have an emotional basis. Oftentimes, if you take the same medicine for a long period of time, it actually will be counterproductive. Is that what has happened?
It's been, actually it's just been for about 6 months now, and they started taking him off the medication, and then this rash has been returning then, so.
Okay, the medication has actually kept the rash down at this point?
It doesn't appear that way.
Is it very itchy, or what kind of, is it a red itch, or what kind of rash is it?
It's sometimes it's occasionally it itches, but most of the time it is just there, and it seems to be sometimes it's spreading, and then once he starts taking the medication, it does seem to be helping sometimes, but it's just really strong medication. I'm just kind of fearful for him.
Yes, I would try to use less, if you can use less medication so it doesn't have to be as strong, and supplement it. I believe there are some Casey remedies for rash that you might look into.
Okay.
And as you withdraw some of the medication, to supplement it with a remedy that would help to compensate for the medication. The medication is going to do a certain amount, but there is an emotional impact going on with him.
Mm-hmm.
And is this your brother that is handicapped?
Yes.
All right.
My mother died 3 years ago, and also a close friend of my brother's died about a year after that. And I think sometimes he might have suppressed his emotion. I'm not for sure, but it's me talking.
I believe there's some anger going on. Is it possible for him in his awareness to be able to understand anger and that it needs to leave?
I think on certain levels it is.
I would suggest you try that along with the remedy.
Okay.
And if it helps the rash, then definitely reduce the medications until he's off them if you can.
Okay.
But the handling of the anger is a significant part of it, and he's breaking out in anger, you might say.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Is there any other questions this evening?
Well, I have one if no one else has one.
Well, welcome.
John, I wonder if you could maybe give us a little discourse on guides and guardian angels and angels in general. I don't totally understand. I've been acquainted with some of my guides. I've met one. I've met Iola. But I don't know what the difference is between a guardian angel and a guide. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Very much so. Angels are of a higher vibration than man. They are the messengers of God. Everybody has two angels. They are there. One is always there with you from birth. The other one can come and go as you are learning certain skills. As you go through school, you might have an angel that can help you with math as you're learning math, especially as you get into geometry or more complicated math. Or if you're getting older, you're going through college and you're taking CPA classes or whatever. Your angels actually are helping you with the talents of your life. If you are a piano player, you would have a musical angel show up as you are taking your lessons and actually helping you to have that knowledge accumulate and come into your thinking processes and help that to happen. They help the brain connect in ways that'll be productive for the talents that you need to learn and grow as you progress in those different abilities. So angels are there, and also to help you at times of need. Some people will say, well, I should have died in that situation. Mac, you had an experience yourself where the train literally should have killed you, I believe.
Yes, I remember that night.
And you were moved to another location, right?
Yes.
And your angels moved you because it was not your time to die. You had a contract. You wrote this out before this lifetime, and that was not the right timing to bring your lifetime to an end. That was not an exit time for you. So angels will jump in when it is not your time and make sure that you are still safe and sound to continue working on what your contract that you contracted for. So there's been many times Marilyn should have been dead because of her very awkward background of abuse. So most of you have had a time or experience where that happened. You might have been in a car accident or very sick. Experiences can happen where you start choking and you don't think your choking is going to be do you in, but if it is not your time, the angels make sure that you are going to come through. So they are very, very helpful in that way. That is the only time they can come in and actually interfere with free will. They do help you with your talents. That's a little different offshoot. Generally, the angels are there to help you, and you are to ask for their help. So what I've learned is so many people do not understand the entourage around them, which includes angels and guides that you were asking about. And they all have a purpose. And your angels want to help you. May I give you some information? I think this was shared at another meeting, but it's such a good prayer for angels to help you that I'd like to share it with you again. When you pray, you might ask for your angels to be, when you request the most benevolent outcome for a situation. Because, and then you be sure and thank them. In fact, there's a little joke around heaven about even when people ask and they get their help, the poor angel, the requests are going in. Maybe you saw the movie Almighty Bruce, and all the requests are going in and going in and going in, and the angels are so busy with all these requests, and here's the little angel, nobody sent out the thank yous. Mm-hmm. And they're so lonely waiting for that. So when you request the most benevolent outcome, also include the thank you as if it has already been happening for you. And when you do this, the angels are just thrilled to help you out. Now that doesn't mean the experience isn't going to happen. It means it doesn't have to be the worst scenario. So if you are experiencing, as Mac did, a flat tire, when he prayed before the evening, and Marilyn prayed before the evening of going into Seattle and having the most benevolent outcome for the evening, and we came out to a flat tire. And as he's fixing the flat tire, and she's shining the light on it, and she says, I prayed for help that this kind of thing wouldn't happen, and her angels told her, well, you're not out on the road with the cars whizzing by. You're in a garage, safe, away from the traffic. You're not in the rain that's coming down, because in the garage there's a roof. The wind is not blowing and whipping you in this cold, blustery evening, because you are protected by walls in the garage. And you're not wet from the rain because of the ceiling. There's even a light. It's not bright enough to change the tire, but you're not in the dark changing the tire. You had to have the tire experience, but you didn't have to go through the wintry, cold, windy, rainy weather of the cars whizzing by, which was dangerously precipitous next to a roadway. So it happened, but it didn't have to be the worst scenario. And as Mac was changing the tire, he asked why this happened, and Marilyn told him what the answer was she got, and he said, that's the answer I got too. So you see that we are there to help you. You have experiences to handle people, but it doesn't have to be that cold, windy, blustery, terribly weather in the dark of night when you're going through it. But you do have these experiences that are written out, that are agendas that you need to walk through for various reasons. So it doesn't wipe your slate clean, but we are more than eager to help you. So that's when your free will comes in, is to ask for help. And you will be glad to know that we have helped many people through many, many situations so that the outcomes were much more productive or have not as difficult, more into being an easier way to handle things. In fact, Angela, that might be one great way to get rid of some of your fear, is to keep asking your angels to help you through these situations, the most benevolent outcome. Then you know it's in God's hands, and you're going to be able to walk through it in a much easier way, and it's not going to be so scary, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Angels are very much there for you and love you so much. In fact, sometimes they even will take out of your script, if something is going too heavy in your script and it's more than you can handle. One example was Marilyn's situation. She's had more than just 2 angels all her life to keep her alive. And in one case, they literally rewrote some of her script because she had more than she could put on her plate and handle in a realistic way. So they actually came together and decided that had to be changed, and they put up a door and said that will not be opened in this case. It was not allowed to happen. And that's unusual, but it can happen also to protect you. We do, when it says we will not give you more than you can handle, believe me, we do stick to that as best, because no one can do it all in one lifetime. Guess what? We have reincarnation, and you can come back and finish these projects that didn't get finished this time, so you don't have to feel pressured, but they are going to happen. When you ask about guides, guides are the people that have passed over, that are training to help you in various ways. Life is all about vibration and energy, and what you were doing earlier this evening was all about energy, changing the energy of the fear into energy of light. And words are very much part of the third dimension energy. That we don't talk about this on the third dimension, but really what people are doing is learning to change the energy of the negative to the positive, and then as you heal the 2 extremes, bringing it in together so it comes to the center and you can transcend. It becomes a neutral energy. God is a neutral energy. So what you're doing on third dimension is with words, with communication, with behavior energy. You're learning to heal that energy and bringing it to the center so it's not way out here in the extremes where we have such dysfunction and pain and suffering. And you bring it, as you heal it, you bring it closer and closer. And the guides are there to help you to do that. They have been trained to help you learn how to change the energy. So often when you're sleeping, you don't realize where you are, but you're off in schools with your guides oftentimes, learning what you need to do differently in a situation so the energy changes and shifts. And it's important to have guides because they get you to the right place at the right time to meet the right people that you need for the next sequence of your cycle that you're working on and progressing through. It's all about changing energy, and the guides are a very big, strong part of that grid of making sure that you are connecting to that grid and handling it in a way where it's becoming constructive in your life. And as you move out of this third dimension, as you pass over, then you can become guides to people still on earth. And you take classes and learn how to manipulate the energy and how to help the people you're guiding. And like the people in this room who can talk to those passed over, you have an advantage of talking to your guides and getting answers and getting answers and explanations and help about, well, why did this happen? What was that about? Marilyn had a big fire in this room one night, and she didn't understand, so she asked her guides, well, what was that about? Because this energy just exploded in this room, and there was this big fire, and she didn't understand what happened. And so what you people that are spiritualists are at a huge advantage, because you can ask your guides for why did I have to be in this place or meet this person or whatever, and you can start to see how the pieces are building blocks falling together, and your guides help to make that happen. One night Marilyn could not sleep. She was scared, and she called on one of her guides to come and spend the evening and stay with her. That happened a couple nights, and Harriet was her name, and Harriet came and spent the evening and stayed with her that night, so she felt like she had extra help that night to get through some of her concerns and fears. And so it wasn't just her angels with her, but she had her guide come and be with her too. So you can ask them to help you in that way also. If you need some more support in whatever you're going through, say, hey, like she calls them her entourage, we're all together in the car and driving around and we're talking. And it's a wonderful way to find out more about the other side. They will tell you if you ask. So, and if you are not sure about asking, and if you're really hearing the answers, go to bed at night and say, this is my question, and when you'll wake up in the morning, you will have the answers. So it's all ways to help you change your energy. So with this ascension, we are moving on into a higher consciousness, and everybody is doing their best to help you with that. Some guides are trained for various reasons, as you have nurses and doctors and various guides for various parts of your life. So you have she calls them her entourage, but you have a variety of guides that are with you for a variety of reasons. And so you're never alone, and you're never by yourself. There is always protection and help, and you are always in God's grace if you choose to focus and choose that instead of the darkness and the fear. It is a choice. And to say, I turn my life over to my God to do with me as He will, and let that loving energy from all this help that is there for you to actually happen. You see, the ego gets in the way of the channeling of that goodness that is in God's plan for you, and to release the fear so God can actually work in your life is an amazing experience. You will feel so good by stepping out of the way with the undoing the ego and letting God's energy flow in. There is a river, and it's a river of energy that is unbelievably wonderful. And as you release those fears, that wonderful, wonderful river will take you into places of paradise like the Garden of Eden, and that's what we're moving into. So all of us are working together towards that terrific goal, and you people are moving higher and faster towards that than the average population. You are all to be commended, applauded. Your angels and guides are here in this room right now, applauding you, giving you lots of cheering and support, and oh wow, hip hip hooray time, hip hip hooray, hip hip hooray, 3 cheers for everybody that's here tonight, because you people are doing what so many still are afraid to do and have not opened up yet to. And we would like you all to know how much we appreciate. You don't know how much we cheer you on the other side. You probably are not aware of all of us standing around at times when you were not as busy and just saying, isn't this great, they're doing it, and we're so thrilled that they're paying attention and you're awake to it. So congratulations, all of you. I hope, Mac, that answered your question.
I have one question.
Yes.
How's my karma score doing?
Well,
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. You have a situation that has not, you've been deceiving yourself by saying, my slate is clean, when actually you were putting off having to do what you needed to do to rectify a situation. It's like you put it aside and pretended it wasn't there. And it's going to come back to bite you if you don't take off the blinders and look at it, because that karma needs to be taken care of. It's a situation that's not drastic. It's between you and another person, and it's someone that you'd like to get along with, and you can't figure out why it's not going well, and you need to look and see. You did not stay true to your word in a situation with that person. You did not say what you mean or follow through with what you said. You did not follow through with something you said you would do. And that person is very offended by that. So they're suggesting that you get honest with yourself and say, yeah, I did tell him to da-da-da, and I'm going to have to take care of it. So you have a little unfinished business, but basically your karma is actually, you have very little unfinished business, Nicholas. You have done an excellent job. They're just saying that it's kind of like sweeping up the remnants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You don't have any big boulders.
That's good. Already done those, huh?
Yeah, you've already done the big ones. You have some minor types of things to take care of, but you've got a pretty good record at this point.
Good.
And it is time to go tonight, and Ariel would like to come in and give everybody a blessing before we end this evening. So I would like to say good evening.
Good evening, John.
Good evening.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And I am so glad to be here. It is so nice to see this room of people. You all are such lights, and you don't always recognize what a light person you are. And I see more light now than I did when we first started. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, it is.
Good.
I see much more light now, and you should go home feeling much lighter too. And let's go around and we will make sure everybody goes home with a blessing. Mac, you are to be commended in so many ways. You, several years back, had no clue you would be doing this kind of work, did you, Mac?
No, not in my wildest dreams.
And look what you are doing today. This man is so selfless. We want you to know he has worked very hard on being there for others and is very interested. If he can help out, he just jumps right in and helps so many people. We want to let you know, Mac, that your service is well recognized, and as we move into the higher dimension, a fifth dimension, it's all about sharing and service, and you do that so well. You're an exciting example for others to follow, and we want you to know that.
Thank you, Ariel. I'm overwhelmed.
Well, you are a wonderful person, helping others always. Every day you're helping somebody with something, and that is to be recognized, and thank goodness you are doing it. It is a wonderful help to those that need it.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. Angela, we want you to know how loved you are. You are such a loved lady, and you have such a beautiful smile, and we want your smile to match your heart. And we want you to open your heart up and know it's safe to do that, dear. Your heart is where God lives, and your heart, in a way, it's indeed miraculous. So know that to open your heart is the safest thing you can do, because when you open your heart and the love comes out, you are safe from harm. That's your protection. That's your shield. A person who is going to be hurt is shut down in fear. A person who is going to be out there in loving ways, someone might send daggers at you, but the love is like a wall that will bounce you. They can't come through, dear. So let that loving protection be around you so you don't get hurt and you don't have to have the fear. And you are a loving person. Just open it up so it can happen.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome. You are loved by your angels and your guides, and you have lots of love in your life. You have a very loving new husband, and let that love come in. He loves you very much, and just open your heart and just let you enjoy. You're a very fortunate lady. You found a fellow with a very good heart, and to really let that happen so your energy and his energy can merge. And that's what we're all about, is letting our lights come together and our love come together, and we're all one. And let that happen, and you will not be fearful, because you are safe and protected in God's light, and nothing can happen then. So enjoy, okay?
Yes.
Enjoy the wonderful life you have. Rosanna, you are a lovely lady, and you work so hard at being a good person, and we want you to be recognized for that. You try to do your best. You are there in so many ways for people, and you are so helpful, and you're trying to work through these things. You need to ask sometimes for help, Rosanna. So don't worry about saying I don't deserve it or I'm not good enough. If you need help, ask for it, and I'll come and help you. If no one else is around, call on me, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You are so deserving. Get all the help you need. Mary,
Yes.
you have a heart of gold. You help people in a way that not many people could do, because you have such compassion. Your heart is so good when you work with the people you work with, and it is such a blessing to them to be in your presence. You add to their lives in a way you don't even understand, and I want to commend you for that. You are a very good person, Mary, and to pat yourself on the back and just recognize all the growth you have made.
Thank you.
Very good. And now we're coming to, help me with this. Who's
Brenda.
Brenda? Thank you, Brenda. Brenda, you are such a sweetheart. You really try to be a person who is there for helping and to do your best also. And you have some things you need to work on. But you know, Brenda, you need to love yourself. Does that sound about right? You need to know that you are a lovable person. Now, helping others is wonderful, but I want you to be so full of love for yourself that your love just overflows to others. Don't take it from inside and give bits and pieces to them when you help them. You know, I love the 23rd song, my cup runneth over. So many people will say, my cup's half full or my cup's half empty. Your cup, let it run over, and give all that overage to all those people, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, because you need to have something there to give to them. Okay, Brenda, do you get it?
Yes.
So start loving yourself. You are loved. You have people around you constantly on the other side that are loving you. So open up your heart and just let that happen, okay?
Okay, thank you.
So God bless you. And Virginia,
Hi, Ariel.
I am so glad you're here tonight.
Thank you.
You are a very high soul, and you have been just wakening up to that gradually, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes, it's wonderful to have you here. We are so pleased that you would come and be with us,
Thank you.
and I'm so glad you're here tonight. You are a blessing wherever you go. Do you realize how much you help people by just your presence? If you don't start to understand that you offer to them an ambiance, that higher energy that helps support them in a way they really need. So sometimes you might just be in a group and you'll say, gee, I'm not doing anything, and you are doing so much more than you realize. Just being there is a blessing to people. So appreciate yourself for that.
Okay. Thank you, Ariel.
You are so...
Thank you for being here too.
Thank you for coming. I just love having you come. You are so, I just love your energy in the room. It's wonderful, Virginia. Thank you for bringing your energy to us.
You're welcome.
And Nicholas,
Yes.
you are a real light to so many people. And not everybody gets it, but you do. I want to say, I happen to have heard you give a Christmas message a few years ago that was the most spectacular Christmas message of truth I've ever heard. So many churches talk at Christmas. Talk, 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 talk. You didn't talk. It came from the presence of God. It was beautiful. It was experiential, and it was the truth. And it was absolutely gorgeous. And when you are in that space, Nicholas, you know how wonderful you have worked in your life to be able to get to that space. So I want you to recognize your achievements. You have worked very, very hard for that channeling to happen when you talk. You gave people something they didn't even know they were getting. You planted seeds that needed to be planted in that church, seeds of spirituality that went beyond where many people in that church are. So you were bright, the light was there so they could brighten up because you were leading in a pathway. Your light was leading them so they could see more than what they saw before. And I want to give you a big hand of your accomplishments in your spiritual growth in this life. You have done a miraculous job.
It's my pleasure.
You are so welcome. It is an honor for me to be in your presence. So I want to thank all of you this evening. Thank you for coming. And we'll just let Martha say goodbye to everybody.
Okay.
Thank you, Ariel. Thank you for
Bye,
coming.
Ariel.
Thank you.
And here I am. I just want you to know that I've had a great evening tonight. And everybody that's new tonight doesn't know that I always say toodaloo when we're all through. So I'm going to tell you toodaloo, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, Martha.
Bye, Martha.
Bye, Martha.